God
he's a minister.
he was a. I am the son of a preacher man.
Wow. Well, let's start. We'll start there. All right. So I have Justin King. Is that the name you want to go by the way?
That's the name I'll go by.
Okay. I'm going to flip this over.
And thank you for having me.
Oh, of course. Well, thank you. Oh, my God. It's been so long. We have so much history.
I know.
Justin and I were in a band together back in the... Not too far in the past. Yeah. But a significant amount. And we've talked, we hung out back at my place a lot, and talk shit. It's been a while. Lots of shit. And now we're back. Now I'm at his place. Actually, special episode. We're also filming. I don't know if I'm going to use this on YouTube. Maybe. Who knows?
Who knows?
We're kind of figuring it out.
I'm going to watch it
as we go along. Yeah, for sure. No, so welcome. We were talking about, let's go. All right. So I want to start off just like about you. I don't actually know that much about you. We talk a lot of shit about bands. You've mentioned things here and there, but like, so your dad was a preacher. Where are you from, first of all?
I'm an LA native, believe it or not. And I'm
where in LA?
Yes, and I'm actually a product of the 60s.
Yeah.
So I'm not a young kid.
Yeah.
So I grew up within my lifetime, I grew up, my earlier formative years, black people couldn't even vote.
Yeah.
Damn. That happened, in like 64 or 65.
Yeah.
So, and then, I kind of, with my dad, with the kind of parents I had, we were still under that Puritanican type of, how you raise your children.
Mm-hmm.
If you talk shit, you get slapped in the mouth.
Yeah.
And if I have told you many times before, to stop doing this madness, then I'm going to beat your fucking ass.
Yeah, goddamn.
So.
How many of you were there?
Well, and as far as me and my sister, which is the two of us, but there's two others from another marriage.
Okay. But you grew up with a sister.
But I grew up with my
your
baby sister.
Immediate sister. Okay.
Yeah, it was just us in the house.
Okay. And what part of Los Angeles?
Well, I'm actually, once again, I am actually from East L.A.
Oh.
Now, Cheech Marin may sing about it, but I'm actually from that place.
Yeah. What was the culture like? What was the...
It was Mexican.
It's always been Mexican, right?
Yeah, it was Mexican. And, but at the time that I grew up there, a lot of veterans were living in these apartment buildings known as the projects.
Yeah.
So
is it those projects right there by the 7? Are they still? Is it still there?
Yeah. Well, the project is still there.
Yeah.
I mean, like I went by there not long ago.
Yeah. It's. I know. I think I know what you're talking about. You grew up right there.
Yeah. I went on a
Third
little
Street,
pilgrimage.
Maybe.
Yes. Where I lived was right off of the First Street Bridge.
Oh yeah. Okay.
When you cross
right
over on the other side.
Okay.
And I went to Utah Street School there.
Okay.
And there were a number of white people there at the time when I was going to school.
Yeah.
And but once again, it was predominantly Mexican, but there were a few blacks and a few whites, and the whites and blacks that were living there kind of composed of the veterans who were just coming back from overseas.
Yeah.
And trying to make a way here.
From Vietnam.
Yeah, because, little is told, but that whole process took about 10 years.
Yeah.
For all the soldiers to come back.
Yeah.
And be, what's the word?
Assimilated back to the...
assimilated or reintegrated.
Yeah, reintegrated,
into the
back to society. Yeah.
But
that
anyway,
was your father?
Yeah, my father was part of that.
Your father served?
Yeah, he was. Yeah.
Yeah.
My dad was a manly man preacher.
Yeah, and then he became a preacher. Yeah. What kind of church?
It was a evangelical Pentecostal church.
Oh, okay.
So it was, more about singing and dancing. Well, at least in my mind, as a kid growing up in that, church, lifestyle. that's what it was about. But
Of course, yeah.
I wasn't really into going to church even as a child
Yeah.
because, some of the subject matters was over my head. It sounded kind of creepy,
Yeah. Yeah.
So, but anyway, but at the time, when I was growing up in East LA, we were just kids. We weren't aware of the problems of the outer world at that point.
Oh, sure.
So, I when we moved out of East LA, I had a bit of a culture shock because even my genetic family is comprised of many different ethnic groups, and cultures, ranging from white to Asian
Yeah.
and all the shit in between. I'm serious.
Yeah.
The black part of my family is going to be phased out in about 50 years.
Yeah.
No, I'm serious.
Oh, you never know.
No, we're going to be phased out. The only people that'll be black at that time would be that one that popped up and you go, oh shit, where the fuck did he come from? Oh, it's your child, believe me.
Yeah.
And when they do the genetic on the
trace it all the way back.
Oh yeah, of course he's
It comes
going to
back
be
to
black.
Justin King for
And I'm back, So listen, when I was a kid, there was so many black people.
Yeah.
At the family reunions, with a few whites and
sprinkled in.
Mexican and one Asian.
Yeah.
So
is that one Asian cousin?
But I went to the family reunion about, I don't know, maybe 15 years. It couldn't have been that long because I took my daughter with me. So maybe about 8, 9 years ago, I looked around and was going, oh, yes, it's happening. Because I used to joke about it.
Yeah.
When I was younger.
You were younger, yeah.
But now that I'm older, looking back, and now I'm those older people of the family.
Right.
Looking up.
Yeah.
And I looked around and was like, oh, there's not too many of like myself.
Yeah.
As dark as I am. Just a handful. And the rest are the hybrids.
Right. No, true. It's funny. I went to a family reunion in San Antonio, and I had it was the white side of the family who had moved to San Antonio back in the day. Like Ellis Island bought a farm in San Antonio, and then one of the daughters ran off with this Mexican rancher, and it was like unheard of. And the family was like, "No way! Like we are like leaving San Antonio for Los Angeles." So they moved to Los Angeles. And then I went back to San Antonio. There's we have this whole family there. And so we were part of this family reunion, and they were all Mexican. I was like, oh, hello. And they're all, so.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, it was a trip. It was like, oh, here's all my Mexican family and friends. It was great.
Yeah, I have children, 2 of which, are black. Mm-hmm. But then I have 3 that are the hybrids.
Right.
So, it's an interesting dynamics going on in my family, know, which, when I look at the fear that the Anglo-Saxon Americans, that's what I'm going to call them, because, white is such an ridiculous.
It's pretty broad, too.
It's kind of a ridiculous description
I know what you
of
mean.
someone.
Yeah.
Because if you were to talk to someone from another planet, and you say this white guy, and they see this guy, they're going to think the intelligence of this species on Earth is, I don't know.
Right.
Because they don't know white from pink and blush or
no, exactly.
So I'm just gonna say Anglo-Saxon
that works.
Americans.
Got it.
And listen, I know that some of you might be Celtic or Celtic or Slavic or whatever, but this is just a generalization here. So, but what their fear is that if it wasn't for the adaptation of the human body to the environment and to other genetic pressure, such as other groups, coming in. Yeah. There's only one destiny for people on this planet. There's only one destiny. And it's not going to be Anglo-Saxons are the only representative on Earth, just like we as Homo sapiens sapiens are the only representative of the hominids that develop into humans that exist, and the rest of them are gone.
Yeah.
It's not going to be that.
Right.
Because the arrow is pointing towards a fusion of all the different ethnic groups into one people.
No, yeah. Yeah, totally.
I mean, it has to happen. If we're going to continue, this is what's going to be the eventual.
No, of course. Well, you know, it's interesting. I was reading, somebody said about kind of what we're experiencing now is the death of racism. Like, yeah, it sounds scary a lot with what the news is, but that's what happens to a creature that is dying. You know what I mean? Like that it writhes out and it like, you know, screams for help and is trying all it can to like survive, and then it's gone. It's like that's what we're seeing today. So it's kind of like a, you know, it's a hopeful kind of way of seeing it.
But unfortunately,
yeah,
this is the problem with humanity as we know it today. Because each generation is that much removed from, say, certain incidents or events that affects the society or the world.
Yeah.
They need to learn that lesson as well. Because, you know, one of the things that my dad tried to break down to me once was, I was so blown away when he said I could have a mohawk. Okay? And I thought that he was such a coolest preacher. Yeah. But one night we were talking, I was going, Dad, you know what? Are you really a preacher? And he goes, why would you say something crazy like that? I said, because you let me have a mohawk. And I thought the church was all about, you know, looking like
proper in order,
exactly. Yeah. And my dad said, well, son, it's just a hairstyle. It's not a lifestyle. You know?
Yeah.
I mean, the people who originated this particular style, you're not going to go out, and even they didn't necessarily just go out and kill people.
Right.
You know, if provoked, like any other living thing, they're going to react. And he said, and besides, when I was a kid, guys were wearing mohawks back then. And I went, you know, it just blew my mind.
Yeah.
That in a time that I thought was still the covered wagon time,
right.
horse and buggy, that guys were styling mohawks. You know, as a fashion, not as a statement of culture, but as a fashion. It blew my mind. And that's when I first heard the word cycle.
Yeah.
That certain aspects of humanity and its culture
are cyclical.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, that's that's kind of what South Park was. They made an episode about, you know, what humanity is going to be fighting over, and it was like, so everyone's atheist in the future, but like some atheists are fighting over one name of atheism, and then the other atheists are fighting over another name. It's like we can't win. We're always just going to be in war with each other.
Look at the Democratic Party.
Yeah.
I mean, how can they expect to win over the hearts of the people that they need to get to vote against this monstrosity that we have in the White House?
Yeah.
You know? And, you know, it doesn't matter what your political leanings are. You know, what I think that is becoming much more of a sinister phenomena is that it's not so much that these people are doing this, like Trump is doing this. It's that it's become okay.
Yeah.
Now,
it's become part of the norm.
With anything, even when Obama was president, you had these voices that were saying, you know, he's wrong. You know, he is trying to be the king.
Right.
He is trying to rule America.
Yeah.
You know, there were these voices.
All that, yeah.
You know. But if you think about what happened with Clinton, now I don't know how old you were when they impeached Clinton.
Yeah, I was a kid, but I was still conscious.
But just because he had lied, you know, I don't even think it was about getting his cock sucked.
It was about him lying about getting his dick sucked. Yeah. I remember that. It was
about the lie. Right. And there was this uproar, you know, and And you had people on both sides of the aisle that had to come to grips with the truth of the matter.
Yeah. Or even all the way back to Watergate. I mean, Nixon had to resign, and it was such a big deal for just tampering in the other side's, which is today is like, whatever.
The government does that by practice.
Yeah. It's just part of society now. Yeah.
But all I'm saying is this. We're going through a phase, and I suggest every American see this movie called Idiocracy.
Oh, yeah, sure. I've seen it.
And they need to see it because when I first saw it, it was funny.
Yeah.
I just saw it about a week ago. It's no longer funny because this is where we're going. It is not going to take 500 years to get to where this movie...
They got, yeah.
Yeah, and if you look at it, and the reason why I kind of brought that up was to go back to what we were saying earlier about using common sense and being able to look at an apple and at least agree it's a fruit that you can eat. You call it what you want. I call it what I want. But we both agree that we could sit this thing down, cut it open.
And consume it.
And when you say your word to your people, they're going to know what you mean.
Yeah.
And when I say my word to my people, they're going to know what you mean. But we have to agree that it's an edible item.
Yeah.
You know?
Some people are like, screw your edible item. Yeah.
And you have people who will argue that simple truth.
Right.
Because of either political,
or
emotional,
religious beliefs.
or religious leanings.
Yeah.
You know? And they can't deal with the reality. I was just talking with a friend. I went to... These people were conservative Christians because our friends
my favorite people.
Yeah, because my friends are conservative Christian Republicans. So this was during the first Obama election.
Yeah.
And when he won, you could have dropped a pen in there, and the emotions was almost like
you were there. You were hanging with them when it happened?
Oh, no, I was hanging with some friends of mine.
Okay.
Who were conservative Christian.
Yeah.
White Republicans.
Right.
You know?
When Obama won.
When Obama won the first time.
Yeah.
And they were so shook up. But the reason why I brought this up was I joined a conversation that sounded pretty interesting.
Yeah.
And this woman was basically saying that, she felt that we were justified to bring, the wrath of the Lord to, Iraq, and to kill, those blasphemous, sinners, and may God have mercy on their soul. We're doing good work there. So I had to join the conversation. And I said, well, I'm just going to ask you a question. Do you really think that if Jesus was here on earth, this was going on, and he would himself go over there and kill? And first of all, you just need to understand, it's not just a few hundred civilians, like the news was saying, that were being killed, and that pretty much, the most hidden and covered up, elephant in the room war that has ever transpired, because tens of thousands of civilians were killed.
Yeah.
Some say hundreds of thousands.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with a more, what I feel is somewhere between fiction and the truth. And say tens of thousands were killed. 1,000 is too many.
Sure.
Non-combatants. And I said, do you think he would go over there and kill women and children and old people and sick people?
Right.
Really? I said, no. Here's a better question. You know, do you really think Jesus would think that's okay? And I think about it, and I told her, choose your words carefully, because we're talking about, Jesus, the motherfucking Christ.
Yeah.
And she got up. She said, I can't do this anymore. I go, of course you can. Because if anyone out there is going to consider themselves a Christian, then you can't go around saying, I hate niggas.
Yeah.
I hate chinks. I hate wops.
Well, you know what? You know what I've found? All right, so I know some Christians, and it kind of dawned on me why they're Christian, because they have this sort of hate, and they like go to Christianity to like calm down the hate.
Okay.
Have you seen that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, listen.
That's how I see it.
The truth is so funny because when you look at Christianity, one of the main guys who helped Christianity kind of spread was Constantine.
Yeah.
He was a fucking general that was out killing motherfuckers. So, but once again, this is the thing where people are not using their heads. They're being led emotionally because people don't vote according to logic or brain power.
Yeah, they vote.
They vote emotionally.
Emotionally, yeah.
And it never fails to bite motherfuckers in the ass when you make a decision based purely on emotion.
Oh, sure.
I mean,
well, wait. Let's go back. All right, let's go back to your father. So,
okay.
Your father was a preacher. Your mom's in your life too, as well.
Yes, she was.
Okay, and then you said you moved out of East LA.
Yes, and
where'd you move to?
Well, I moved to the awareness of my people.
We're like what town?
Yeah,
There's only
moved,
a few. There's like
I moved into
South LA.
I moved into South LA.
Yeah.
And at the time, it was predominantly black.
Yeah.
And because it was, in the mid '60s.
Yeah. Okay.
That was probably about 7 or something like that at the time. When we moved to this place.
Yeah.
And
yeah, what was the neighborhood like?
It was a culture shock because I grew up in a multicultural family, multicultural environment.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, everybody's black.
Everybody, yeah.
And they are hostile motherfuckers.
Yeah.
Man.
Damn. You're like,
slavery,
holy shit. Yeah.
Slavery and all this shit has done a number.
Yeah, sure, yeah.
And I'm telling you from my experience of growing up. But, like I said, for them, it was all that they knew.
Right.
But, see, I kind of grew up in some type of bubble.
Right. And then you were awakened into this whole other thing. Oh,
and
shit.
Then I was brought into the bigger picture.
Yeah, you're like, whoa.
And so it was a culture shock. Now, my parents, they grew up in that environment.
Oh, so they knew it.
So they knew it.
Okay.
And they tried their best to prepare,
Trying to prepare a 7-year-old?
Listen, I don't know if it was because of my youth or what, but they tried to prepare me because I remember after the fact, of what they tried to tell me about when we move into this neighborhood, there's going to be a lot more niggas there. I mean, this is just the way we talk.
Yeah.
So don't be offended out there.
Yeah.
Because you motherfuckers use that shit more than I do. So, and I'm going like, what does that mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and he said, well, my dad said, well, a lot of the guys, they're tough.
Yeah.
Because you have to be tough.
Yeah.
Because that's all you got. You got a lot of them don't have any aspirations. So all they got is this moment, And I was like, that just went over my head.
Yeah.
So we get into the neighborhood. We move in,
Mm-hmm.
and we move into this 3-bedroom shotgun style house. Is what my mom would say.
Okay.
That because they said if you walk through the front door and shoot a shotgun spray, you'll kill everybody in the house.
Oh, I see. Yeah,
They're
because it's
all
all
right
so
there.
close to. I see. So close to each other.
Yeah.
Well, how long did you live in that area till?
I lived there until I was about 12. And then I had to undergo another culture shock.
Oh, really? Oh, jeez. You moved to the valley.
No,
Okay.
no,
No.
no. I moved to the west side.
Oh, yeah. That's a culture shock for sure.
You know,
That's a
and,
culture shock for me. When I lived in Northeast LA with the Mexicans.
Oh, right.
And then my friends would party in West LA, and I go to West LA. I'm like, what is this?
Right. And this area was once again predominantly black, but it was a different type of blackness.
Yeah, what kind is
You know,
that?
it was. These were the black people who had aspirations, but didn't know how to go about getting there. So it'd be a whole bunch of talk,
Interesting.
but just sitting there,
Okay.
you know. And the years go by, and finally people start going, yeah, whatever, motherfucker.
Yeah.
You know, fly my ass to the moon. You know?
Yeah.
So,
Huh.
but,
And what era is this?
this is like near the 110 freeway.
No, I mean, I'm sorry. What time frame?
What time frame?
Like,
What they're talking about?
so you're like 12.
Yeah, we're talking about
13.
the very late 60s, early 70s.
Okay.
You know.
Cool. Oh, so we had just gone to the moon around
Yeah.
that time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. And where did the guitar come in? Was that I'm just assuming that's your first instrument. Where did that
Well, my
all
oldest sister had a boyfriend that was a guitar player.
come in? Okay.
And he would come over to the house and he would play for my
Yeah.
parents and stuff, and they would sing these gospel songs and stuff.
Yeah.
And then I saw a series of films on TV that had, people in it like Chuck Berry and Bo
Yeah.
Diddley and Fats Dominoes and Dion and no, not Dion, but what's this guy's name? Carl Perkins. You know,
I haven't heard that one. Carl Perkins.
yeah, he was a guitar player.
Okay.
Chet Atkins. It'd be those were like country guys.
Okay. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's why I don't know. Yeah.
So, but I would see these guys on TV, and they'd be playing like what I would have considered at that time blistering guitar.
Yeah,
you
sure.
know. And so that's when it started. But actually, when I actually got into it, I don't want to call it an epiphany. I'll just say I was inspired.
Yeah.
And there was this guy that I went to school with, high school with.
Yeah.
Because I got into some trouble.
This is on the west side?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, this is way on the west side, like Crenshaw.
Oh, okay.
Because see, when you live in the neighborhood of like East LA,
Uh-huh.
and then you move to like Broadway, that's west.
Yeah.
You know. But I went to school actually in the west.
Yeah.
You know. And it was called Crenshaw. So I went there, and I went to school with this guy named Bradley Davis. Phenomenal guitar player. I mean, you have your Joe Bonamassas, you have your John McLaughlin, but this guy at 17 would wipe those guys away. Just lit. I mean, and I'm not even talking. I'm not talking about. I'm taking away the emotional way this guy played. I'm
Yeah.
just saying his technical
Just
ability.
technical ability
would just
alone.
would just see if this technology was back then, you'd know about it.
Yeah, right.
Okay, I'll put it
Yeah.
to you that way.
Yeah.
So many motherfuckers would know about him. That's the level of guitar. He inspired me to play and to take it not seriously, but to take whatever I want to convey seriously, and whatever I want to convey, it may take a certain technical skill
Yeah.
to convey it, you know, and that's what he was all about,
I see.
you know.
If you're gonna try and portray something emotionally, you gotta have the skills to pull it off.
Right, you know, and duh.
Yeah.
You
Sure.
know?
If you want to speak the language, you gotta learn the language. If you want to communicate to certain people, yeah. Sure.
So, you know, so when I started, he heard me play piano one day, because that's what I was at the time.
Oh, okay, that's what you're
I was
playing.
a pianist. I was actually a jazz pianist.
Nice.
And he heard me play, and him and a friend of his, Billy Hinton, phenomenal drummer. They lived like right around the corner from each other. So I guess they were talking about me. So they invited me to come play in their band.
Nice.
So
As keys.
yeah, playing
Yeah,
keyboards.
keys. Uh-huh.
And I learned a valuable lesson about being a keyboard player in a rock band.
Yeah. What's that?
You're never gonna get laid.
No.
The roadies will get laid before you.
Oh, really? Before the keyboard?
Let me tell you,
Yeah.
them being black and in a rock band playing keyboard
Yeah.
is a big. I discovered this to be true, you know. So, but anyway, so he inspired me to play guitar, because I remember one time, after I had been playing with him for about a year, I went to go just hang out with him on a Saturday afternoon. So I got to his place around 11. So as I'm walking up a driveway, kind of like a walkway like here, I'm hearing this motherfucker inside practicing. And so I just kind of just stood outside to listen, because what I was hearing, I was going, maybe it's my shoes or something scraping. And I just sat there, and he was playing the most incredible melody. I couldn't really hear what he was playing to outside, but it was insane. It was absolutely insane.
Yeah.
It would be something close to the Django Reinhardt and George Benson. Somewhere in that realm, with all the classical chord voicing.
Sure.
Because he played with a pick, without a pick,
Yeah.
with
do
his
it all.
fingers.
Yeah.
And all I can imagine was that he was playing this style
Yeah.
from outside, but in a way that I don't think Andre Segovia would have, maybe, but, you know, he didn't. So,
Yeah.
and I just wish I could have had a cell phone to record it, because that would have been something I would have recorded.
Yeah.
Because I would be going, because I was going, what the fuck? So I go inside, and he is sitting down.
Yeah. Come to the mic. Yeah.
So I go inside, and he's like sitting down, and he's sitting in. He had his little corner set up
Yeah.
where he could have like his amp right there, and it was easy for him to reach everything. And so I go, what was that? And he goes, oh, I was doing an improvisation of Coltrane's "A Love Supreme."
Nice.
I go, your own improvisation? He goes, oh yeah, it's my adaptation.
Yeah.
You know? And I go,
He's like, yeah, I'm just fucking around.
yeah, I mean that's what he was doing.
Yeah.
And I looked up on his I don't know, trophy rack, all these different necks. So I reached up and got one and looked at it, and the frets were all worn down to the to the wood, and the wood is like starting to give way. And I looked at his necks. I go, dude, how many necks do you go through?
Yeah.
And this guy goes through a neck every 4 to 6 months.
Wow. Wow.
That's
Shit, I gotta raise up my game.
his
Holy fuck.
fingernails. His fingernails had started growing backwards, like this, because he had what I call these little pads that you see like on toads and stuff.
Yeah. Because, like, yeah, it would grow, but it wouldn't matter.
You know,
You'd just be playing. Oh, my God.
he was phenomenal.
Amazing.
Bradley Davis.
Yeah.
You know,
Are there any recordings of him at all or anywhere? What was the band called, first of all?
we are not going to believe it, but we were the L.A. version of Rush.
Really? Oh, you guys are called Rush?
We changed our name shortly afterwards. After Rush, you know, kind of
After those Canadian guys?
Yeah, after they hit it big, so we changed our name.
Yeah, what was the name? What did you change it to?
You know, I don't think I was in the band after that.
Oh, okay.
Because I had guitar ambitions of my own.
Right.
That's why I left the band.
Oh, look at you.
You know.
So you picked up a guitar shortly after that?
Yeah, I picked up a guitar, and people were laughing at me, going, "Man, what you're getting ready to do is like going from playing like table tennis to football, bro."
Oh, damn.
You know, because meaning going from
Yeah.
the ivories to like having to pluck and remember these strings.
Right.
Little did they know I had previous experience with the guitar. Just a brief folk period.
Yeah.
You know, where I was doing my little kind of, not Peter Paul, but like Simon and Garfunkel, Bob Dylan,
Yeah.
Cat Stevens
Kinda
stuff.
just fucking around.
You know.
Yeah.
So I knew some chords.
Yeah, there you go. All right, so you had
I had some starting points.
Yeah.
You know.
Very good.
So but
You knew how to play A
yeah.
and E and G.
So from playing with Bradley, I learned how to practice.
Nice. How do you practice?
Well, I don't practice anymore these days.
Well, yeah, but
but when I do, you know, my cancer has kind of took me out of the whole practicing thing. That's another story.
We'll get to that. I'm asking for myself because I want to be a better guitarist, and I feel like I've gotten better to a certain point, but I can always be better. So,
well,
yeah.
When I practice, I always start off with the scales.
Okay.
And because you'll be surprised by having just some. You know, I'm not practicing all of them. I'm not doing the Miscellanean or the Aeolians or Dorians or anything like that. I'm just, you know, working on major and minor scales, you know. And I'll do that for like an hour or two.
Wow. Okay.
You know. And, you know, I'll walk around doing it and just trying to get it right, do it right 10 times. Then I move up a half step.
Yeah. And then
if I do
that
it
right
10
times,
you know, and I just keep moving up.
Okay, that's kind of what I do. I'll do the same thing over and over, maybe like 5 times, and then I get it right 5 times, and I'll move on. I should up it to 10. Yeah.
And then I'll come back, and then I'll do like the minor of it, you know, and do the same thing going up, and then I'll just start working on chords, you know. I'm trying to do either a 8-bar phrase chord progression. Or 12-bar chord progression, you know.
Did you wear out any necks?
I beg pardon?
Did you wear out any necks?
In my early days, I did.
Yeah, awesome.
Because if you're practicing all the time and playing all the time,
then
you're gonna wear out necks.
You're gonna wear out those goddamn necks. Yeah.
And those frets are gonna go. And I didn't realize what was happening until one day I was playing and the strings were going. I'm going. Wait, and then I'll go up a little higher, then I can get the chord. But I'll go back to that area.
Right.
And then I'll go down below, and I still can't hear anything because the frets is all fucked up. Yeah. So that's when I realized I had to go get some fret work.
All right, get some fret work. Yeah, definitely. All right. So what was this next band? This band that you started with the guitar. Just drinking water, folks. For those who are listening.
Excuse me. I need to moisturize.
No, of course.
But I think my first band, you know, when I started playing guitar, We were called ICE. Not to be confused with these crazy motherfuckers running around, with badges and stuff,
Right.
And we didn't really do any shows because I knew I wasn't quite ready, even though I had been doing all this practicing.
Yeah.
So we just did a lot of jamming in my garage, in my parents' garage. And one day, this guy, I don't even know who he was. I was probably about 15 or 16.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I was going through a little bit of, I guess I had arrived to my full ghetto blackness, if you want to say, because I was in a gang at this point.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
This
is in West LA?
No, this is like I said, I was living. It's not West LA.
Oh, Crenshaw. That's right.
And before that, younger, when I was going to Fremont, which is over on San Pedro.
Okay.
Near Manchester.
Yeah.
And because of gang activity, I had to leave that school.
Oh, shit.
And I wound up at Crenshaw.
I see.
And
how did you get in the gang?
Well, I got tired of getting my ass kicked. I got tired of motherfuckers fucking with me.
No,
I mean,
say no more. That makes a lot of sense. It really does. I would have done that if
So I started working out, started lifting weights because I'm from a military family, basically, and
right.
all of my cousins were bodybuilders, so to speak.
Okay.
Not for awards or anything, but just for their own personal egos.
Yeah. And you're like, hey, I have the genetics for it.
Yeah, so I started doing the same thing they were doing. They gave me some weights and stuff.
Perfect. Yeah.
So I started working out. And I got pretty big there.
Nice.
Yeah. I'd have to say
Did you get more chicks when you were playing guitar then?
It was much easier to get chicks
Yeah.
playing guitar than working out.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because, when I was working out was probably between the age of I started when I was probably about 14, and I really got somewhere when I was my early 16th year. And by the end of the 16th year, I was no longer bodybuilding or in a gang.
Yeah. Totally turned around.
Oh, yeah. The universe made sure that shit got turned around because I was moving in the wrong direction.
Yeah. That's great.
And fortunately for myself, because of the way I was raised, I didn't internalize a lot of the aspects of the community to be a deterrent to my dreams or my hopes.
Sure.
Because like I said, you have people who have dreams, but their reality is because I'm black, they're never going to give me a break. But unfortunately for people who talk this way, they forget that Sammy Davis Jr. Did the fucking impossible back in the 40s and 50s and 60s.
Yeah.
He did the impossible. He was able to date a white woman and live to talk about it. Okay?
Yeah.
He was able to get up on stage with some of the most famous white males in America and maybe the world and cavort on stage with them like they're lifelong motherfucking buddies.
Yeah.
Like they grew up together.
Yeah.
And now you're going to tell me, like 50 years later, they're not going to give you a break. Do you think Sammy Davis Jr. had a magic fucing wand?
Yeah, not at all.
Or he came from Narnia or something?
Different kind of magic wand, you know what I mean? But
did he come from Narnia or something?
Yeah.
What are you saying?
Right.
You know, look at Martin Luther King.
Sure.
It's scary. Yeah. And you might fail. So what?
Yeah. The pursuit of just even going for it can sometimes just be enough. But people get through it. Like people have those aspirations
Yeah.
and they all right, so where are you? So let's go back. So you're like, let's say, all right, so 17, 18. Where are you 17, 18 now? Or what'd you do after high school? Let's go there.
Well, I went to college.
Where'd you go?
I did the backward thing. My college I went to was UCLA first.
And then you went to community college or something?
Yeah.
Yeah. I know a lot of people like that. I've heard that. Yeah, it's like everyone goes to these like, yeah.
Well, back when I did it, it wasn't a thing.
Oh, right. So you went to UCLA.
Yeah, I went to UCLA and I got pissed off at the system. And I decided not to work with the system.
Did you study music?
Well, no, I went to study history and anthropology.
Oh, okay. Oh, wow.
But I couldn't
History
get in.
makes sense.
Yeah, but I couldn't get into the classes because of the criteria that they have for freshmen. You had to take math and all this shit again.
Right, in order to... Oh, yeah, that's bullshit.
I'm going, wait a minute.
Yeah.
I did that shit in the high school.
Yeah, why the fuck? Yeah.
No, here's what I want. I want Egypt, you know, the pre, dynasty era. I want that. And I also want, sociology of Nazi Germany.
Yeah.
I want to study that. And I want to study, the the anti-Semitic rise of Jews and stuff in, Anglo Germany. And they're going like, no, you have to take these classes here.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. It's a requirement. You cannot supersede this.
Yeah.
You are a freshman. Shut the fuck up.
Right.
You're going to a great school. Take this. Get out of my fucking face.
You're like, fuck this. Where'd you go after that?
So after that, I went to Harvard JC out in the
Okay, I've heard of it.
South Bay area.
Yeah.
So I went there. Then I went even lower. I went to LA Trade Tech.
Good for you, man. Hey.
And I took up a welding class.
Yeah.
Because I figured, since my dad and all my uncles and cousins were, mechanics and engineer and maintenance engineers and all this stuff, well, I might as well get into something.
You didn't go into theology and become a preacher?
That's a whole
like,
other story.
No, I know.
That's a whole other story.
I know. Yeah, so, all right, but you're still playing music. I know that.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. You're in several bands.
Yeah, I'm in a couple of bands, but my objective is to push my label that we have, me and my fiance that we have. We're going to get behind that because really, for any musician, you need to understand the business of music.
Yeah.
And yes, there's money in playing and writing for it, but there's more money in publishing and producing and selling music.
Yeah.
Because those are the motherfuckers that pay you those millions of dollars in royalties and per diems and stuff. That's what is happening in sports. The guys that own the fucking team, that's where the money is.
Oh, yeah. Oh, no, totally.
Because if you're the player and they can pay you $25 million to play you for 5 years, imagine how much money they're making.
No, I know. No, it's insane.
So, I rest my case. So, you guys out there, y'all better listen to that.
I know. It's funny that you say that because I so hate the business side of it all. Like I just need a manager, really. Like I love creating music,
and you should
and
get
doing
one.
That, and that's probably what I need to do. Is get a manager.
And listen to Mr. Dedlie here. That is, you need a team. You really do. I mean, very few of us have the mental and, how should I say, experience to do it all. You know, so you're gonna need someone to take some burden off of you, so you can do what you do best. You know, and some of the other shit that you have to do that you don't want to do, but you should do anyway. But now that you don't have to deal with that, you can do that a little better. You know, so listen to Mr. Dedlie.
But anyways, all right. So, oh my God, we've been talking for I can't believe it's almost an hour now.
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna fast forward a bit. But do you have any? Because I wanted to get to like yours truly and how you got there. Because I know there's a big gap. So like, were you like just playing music this whole time? Did you ever stop? I mean,
well,
any fun?
Basically, I went through several phases. You know. In my earlier days, I was on a very popular scene. The scene that brought that gave us X. That gave us the Plimp Souls. That gave us
the 80s.
Darby Crash, late 70s.
Late 70s, early 80s. Okay.
Yeah, the Germs.
Yeah, the Germs. Yeah.
These different bands, and I've been very fortunate to be alive. And involved in several LA scenes. That with the Plimp Souls being my first.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Yeah, and I had a band at that time called the Pilgrims.
Nice.
And man, do I wish I had the following I had then. Now, people would worship me now. They would be going like, "Oh my!" But here's the irony.
Yeah.
Back then, I didn't think I had a following. I mean, I knew I had people to come out to see me.
Yeah.
But compared to my friends,
sure, you're like
the Blasters.
Yeah.
You go see the Blasters. They're standing room only.
Right.
Or you would go see. One of my favorite bands to see together was a group called Great Buildings. They were on Columbia Records.
Okay.
Great Buildings, the Motels, and the Germs. Now you would go to one of those shows. It doesn't matter how big the place; it's going to be packed.
Wow.
So here's what I would say. Some of my friends were bringing in normally about 400 to 1,000 people.
Yeah.
I was bringing in about 300.
But still, that's something. Yeah.
Well,
comparatively. I understand.
Yeah.
I get it. But in today's standards, that's like
it would be unheard of.
of.
But back then, it wasn't shit.
Yeah.
It didn't mean a fucking thing.
Yeah.
You were still playing for free, basically.
Right. Oh my God.
So unless you were playing a small place.
Yeah.
Now, what happened was I got booked at and here's the thing. All 300 didn't show up all the time.
Yeah.
So I might get like 100 people.
Oh, sure.
You know what I mean?
100 people here, 100 people there.
100 people here, there. Maybe 200 on this night.
Right. If it's a Friday, Saturday night. Yeah.
Then back down to like 120.
Right.
But when I did what I thought would be my take a break show, that I was going to take about a year off. Because at that point I had been doing recording sessions and playing in bands.
Yeah.
Quite a bit. And I just wanted to start spending my motherfucking money.
Yeah. Like vacation or something? Or?
Yeah, I was just going to go on a little break and, write stuff. And so I did a show, what was supposed to be my last show for a while. And I changed the name of the band from the Pilgrims to Condition Red. I got a write-up in the LA Weekly. I wish I could remember the exact year and month because I would love to just go back and pull that forward. But it was somewhere in the 70s.
Yeah.
Probably toward the late 70s.
Yeah.
Because I think I had left the Rutledge Band at this point. That's a whole nother story. Anyway, so it's somewhere in the late 70s. I'm not quite sure. It could be 78, 79,
sure,
80.
Sure.
But they wrote it up. A friend of mine called me up and said, man, get the LA Weekly and go to the, the pick of the week section.
Yeah.
So I go to get breakfast over on Santa Monica near Fairfax.
Yeah.
There was a little diner there that I would go to. So I picked up an LA Weekly, went there, I got my coffee, and bacon and toast, whatever I was eating. I opened up and I read it. Oh yeah, Ron King. For those of you,
Yeah.
that's my. You forget. When I count to 3, you will forget you heard that name. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so now I read that they say, "Oh, this guy who has entertained us, is is doing a farewell show.
Yeah.
You should come see him. Phenomenal band, great musician, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
He is particularly recommended."
Wow.
So I go to the show that night. So now I've been playing this place every Sunday for about 3 months now.
Mm-hmm.
Never a line outside. Never.
Yeah.
And I always go on first.
Yeah.
So that would be somewhere between 7:30 and 8 was when I would go on. And I would never play after 9 o'clock. It didn't matter where,
Right.
So I meet the drummer. Hang on. I meet the drummer because I'm waiting for him in the parking lot
Yeah.
because we like to assemble
Yeah.
in the parking lot before we go in.
Right.
Because that was
What place is this?
I was called Bullwinkles,
I've heard of Bullwinkles. Okay.
and it was out in Santa Monica.
Yeah. Yeah.
Somewhere off of Pico or some shit
Yeah.
like that. So
I think the place was a venue until recently. It was called something else.
yeah,
I think until recently it was a venue like not too long ago, right?
Yeah, but it had stage.
Yeah, it had a
lights,
stage and everything. Yeah.
everything. But
Okay.
anyway, so we get there, but it's a small place.
Yeah.
Really. Probably hold tops 190, 200 people.
Yeah.
You know.
Like Cafe Noah size. Yeah.
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 So we get together. I had a female bass player.
Nice.
I can't even remember her name now. She is lost to history.
Oh man.
I almost remembered it. I think it's Terry.
Oh, okay.
And Joe Leonti was the drummer.
Mm-hmm.
And so we got together, and I was saying to them, "Damn, whoever's playing with us tonight, they got a big motherfucking following." And they were going like, "Yeah, fuck, man. I'm glad we're going on first, because I would hate to go on after them." And so we go in, and we get our drink tickets,
Yeah.
and we go sit in the back.
Yeah.
And then I would go outside, smoke a bowl.
Right.
And Joe would come out and smoke, and I would tell him, "Maybe you shouldn't smoke because you have a tendency to forget shit, So, "Oh, man, I can handle it, no problem." So we smoke a bowl, we go back in, and we go and put our stuff up on stage. And all these people are in this place, and we're going, "Damn, it's going to be a good night."
Yeah.
Man. So I started seeing some of my friends. Michael Steele, she was in the Bangles. Well, she wasn't in the Bangles at that time.
Mm-hmm.
No, wait a minute. She might have been.
Okay.
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But she might have been.
But she was in the Bengals at some point.
Yeah, well, definitely she was, and if they are still together, she is.
Okay.
In the band.
Gotcha.
And she came up and, "Hey, what's going on, blah, blah, blah." And then my friend Jack Sherman, who used to play with the Chili Peppers,
Yeah.
he came up and, "Hey, dude, what's going on, blah, blah, blah."
Yeah.
And then, Danny Wilde, who was played in Great Building, and they also the Rembrandts.
Yeah. Yeah.
They did the whole Friends song, theme song.
Right.
So he's coming up, "Oh, man, I'm glad I got a chance to come down." I'm going, "Hey, man, I'm glad you guys came down." They're going, "Man, it's a good crowd for you." I go, "No, man, they're probably here for the band after us because the Twisters are going on after us, the Pencils, and they're going, no, I think they're here for you, man." And I'm going, "No, you're high.
Yeah.
Cut it out." So I get on stage, and we start the tune up and stuff, and then everybody comes in.
Yeah.
You're talking about crowded looking.
Yeah.
It was unfucking real.
Awesome.
Now, the only other time I played for a crowd like that was when I had played the Starwood with a group called Sumner. And what was this band called? They had a huge following, too. Shit, I can't think of the name of their band. They were kind of like the early metal band, at that time. Holy mackerel, man.
Early metal?
And they were really good.
Before Metallica?
Yeah.
Early metal.
Around the time of Motley Crue. Motley Crue was formalized in 1980.
Yeah.
So this must have been around 1980, 1981.
Mm-hmm. I can't. I'm not the most metal.
Well, these guys were really good. I'm sorry, everyone, that I can't remember. I was so stoned.
So anyway, so Sumner.
The
band
Sumner,
you were in?
they were great. They were a great band. They had a really good following. They had a label behind them, but we were like unsigned.
Yeah.
And we were the opening act. And
you were opening for Sumner.
Yeah.
What was your band?
Well, no, all of us was opening for this other band.
Oh, I see. Okay. Okay.
The third band.
Got it.
And you did 2 sets in those days.
2 sets.
Yes. It was like 7, 8, 9, and then 9, 9:30, 10:30, 11:30.
Okay. Damn.
So
you get paid for just one?
Oh no, you got paid for the whole night.
For the whole night. Okay.
So anyway, to make a long story short, I wish I could find this picture, but we took a picture and someone took a snapshot of us from above the stage, with me and the band on the stage and this crowd of crazy kids.
Yeah.
Jumping out because we were a punk band.
Yeah.
And that's right. I'm the original OP, motherfucker. But anyway, looks like our...
Well, here's the thing. So our time is almost done. Would you want to do a part 2? Do you have time?
I have time for a part 2.
Part 2?
So let's take a little break.
Other hour. Yeah, we'll take a break. Well, we have time left. Also, shoot. Do you have an acoustic guitar you can bring? Maybe you can play something in the part 2.
Part 2.
Yeah.
I
have
one.
And then we could talk about that other band. You said you have another story, and then I want to get to yours, Cruelly. We got to talk about that.
Okay, you got it.
All right. Well, thank you, Justin King.
Thank you for having me.
Listen to part 2. Bye.
Bye.